help enlighten and give you ideas of what you could do with your little kiddos throughout the summer. That's absolutely free. Hey, welcome back to my channel. So it's Melissa here with another video. You heard from the title, it is summer. Summer is upon us and the kids are busy. They are home. They're eating up all the wonderful snacks and everything else like that. So I thought it would be a great idea to just give young moms an idea of free things that can be done to entertain your kids over the summer. Let's jump right into it. So you're sitting around your home and you're trying to figure out, okay, what are we going to do for the summer? Whether your funds are limited or not, everybody likes free things and free ideas. So this isn't about being cheap. This isn't about being frugal, or I'm implying that people with young people don't have money. That's not my point. My point is there's so much that you can do in a community and outside in the surrounding communities to keep your kids busy. I'm going to try to cater to this to the younger kids because I think teenagers will be a little bit different. Maybe I'll do a separate video on, how to occupy the teenagers during the summer. That may be a good video, especially, when you consider some of the things that in trouble, I'd imagine some teenagers may get into because they're not busy. So busy with school. Let's get started. So when my kids were younger, they always shared me and their space with my daycare. So we would also run a daycare, and we were also foster parents. So I've always had kids around me and around my children. And we also had an enrichment, learning, playful environment for children. And so because of that, I had to be creative, not only because of my daycare and my curriculum, but also because here I am with these kids. What am I going to do to entertain them? Now, when you're talking about 6 to 12 kids, plus staff or whatever, you want to make sure that, you keep the costs down. So again, this video is not implying that because you have small children that you don't have money to do things with. But I was pretty creative in whether I had my daycare kids with me or even if I had my own children. And then what ended up happening is a lot of their fond memories is not the most expensive trips that we take and all this other stuff. They remember the simple things. So let's jump right into it. Number one, it's hot. It's summer. You don't have to necessarily go out. Create a fun learning space for your kids. So for an example, if you're trying to figure out, okay, these kids are driving me nuts or whatever, the one fun thing that kids love to do is a nice, cool bubble bath. That may not last them longer depending on your kid. If that's something that you always do, then no, that won't occupy them very long. But what may occupy them a little longer is if you allow different toys to go in there or whatever. So that's a very simple number one that you can do. So I know, by the time I'm done with this list, I probably won't even remember 1, 2, 3, but I'm just going to try to remember. Another thing you can do in home, right? You're still at home. You don't want to go anywhere. You have your kids. A fun thing that kids love to do is to build forts and to pretend and just build forts. Like, I know that there are some parents that just really hate forts in the living room, but being the fun parent, that didn't bother me. Like, build all the forts that you wanted to fort, and my kids would build the forts. They would have all their books, and sometimes the fort would be under the table or whatever. That's going to occupy your kids while you can go wash or cook or just chill, do whatever you want to do. Sometimes forts are good because, as a quiet space. So it's summer activities don't always have to be, getting out energy. It's a good quiet space. Okay. The key to entertaining young children is you can't use the same stuff all the time. It has to be novel. So in other words, if you're doing the same thing all the time, when you suggest that it's time to do it, and they're just like, oh, we always do that, then it's not going to be novel. So in other words, if you always build forts, that's not going to be something good until you add a different element. So it's the same thing. You've heard the saying about the special toy. Don't have that special toy available, because if that special toy is always available, they're not going to think that it's special. So if you always build forts or whatever, that may not be the kicker. But what may be the kicker is not only were we allowed to build forts, but we were able to bring our mattress downstairs and watch TV and eat snacks in the living room, right? So that's another thing. Something else, perfect example, depending on where you live. Summer is not always the best type of weather. Either it's going to be super, super hot and the kids can't go outside, or sometimes you have tornadoes. We've lived in places where, you know, it would be tornadoes or hurricane season or whatever. One of the fun things that you can do is bring something that's normally outside, bring it inside. Now, again, think about carpet, think about whatever. Thank God we don't have carpet, but think about carpet and stuff like that. Make sure that it's something that can be safely brought inside. You have a kid who has a little tiny slide and whatever, let it bring it inside. I'm not saying that I allow my kids to ride their bikes in a circle around the house. No, that's not what I'm saying. But if it's something that they normally enjoy, a water table or whatever, again, I know that I'm thinking with what I would do because I had my daycare kids. But the thing about it is, when my daycare kids weren't there, my kids still enjoyed those toys. They still enjoyed those activities. It was a learning environment and in a rich, learning, playful environment. So that's an idea that you can do. So we're almost headed outside. So be careful. Be patient. So another thing that you can do on the line of forts and different things like that is create special movie times. So get the popcorn. Go actually to the movie theater. A lot of people don't know you can do this. We do it all the time because we are a popcorn family. Go to the movie theater. Just tell them you just want to pick up popcorn. Pick up popcorn. Go to the dollar store. Get their candy. If your kids can't have candy, get their fruits and everything else like that. And just really, really hype up whatever it is that you know, find something they've never watched before, but it is movie time. Let them pretend, give them tickets and all of that. Just go all out. And it does, when I say go all out, I mean make it playful. You don't, when I say go all out, I don't mean go spend money or anything. Kids enjoy the simplest of things. Okay, y'all, we're going to have movie night tonight. We're going to go get popcorn and everything. We're going to eat in the living room and we're going to have so much fun. But first, I want you guys to make tickets because you got to make tickets, remember, for the movie theater or whatever. Kids really, really enjoy that. So that's something that is very free that you can do in your home. I'm sure there's other things that I could think of, but now I'm thinking of outside. So one thing that you can do is go to the library. The library is a chock full of resources for young children all the way up to adulthood. I know that, you know, with everything being online, the library is almost like a lost space, but I love it. My kids, even to this day, you know, they're readers. They going to the library with your young children creates such a love of learning and reading and respect and understanding the learning and reading environment, right? So if you have children, and I hear this sometimes where people are like, oh, I don't take my kids places like that because they don't know how to act. I'm telling you right now, as long as you're not taking your kids places, they're not learning how to behave. And that's on child development right there. You have to put your children in these environments, and you have to have enough emotional fortitude and discipline to set the expectation. When we go into this library, this is what we're going to do. My kids, we would sit hours. Number one, it's air conditioned. Number two, it's free entertainment in the sense of story time, movie time, whatever it is that they do. They have different, you know, go on the website, see what they have. They have exhibits. There's always something going on for young children in the library. The library is the best. Especially, you know, and kids can spend and if your kids don't have a love for reading, I believe that they can develop. You teach children how to respect books. That's something we inbred it since they were like babies. No, you do not handle a book like that. You treat a book with respect. So the library is a space where we enjoyed going. And they would go through and get the books that they want and the books on tape and everything, you know, whatever it is. And again, like I said, it is free. Another place that's really, really good to go with young children for the summer are different splash pads. There should be splash pad. There's at least one splash pad where you live. Has to be. And if there isn't, then there's probably a community pool that has like a kiddie pool area. Those are really great entertainment for you to get the kids wet, cool off, meet other parents, interact, and different things like that. Again, if you're the type, you know, I can't bring all my kids, Melissa, you just don't understand. I'm talking, I had 6 to 8 to 10 to 12 kids doing this. So I'm not saying that it's going to be easy if this is something that you're not used to doing, but I am saying that you're cheating your kids on really cheap, but also fun learning activities. And that's just fun as a kid. So, the fact that they don't know how to behave in public, you got to teach them, and you got to keep doing it. You got to keep taking them and keep taking them, keep taking them until they learn. Another thing that you can do at home or somewhere is to have a picnic. Whatever it is that you were going to fix for that day. You don't even have to go out and buy your food that you were going to like new food. So again, we're talking free things to do for the summer. You can take whatever food that you were going to feed, even if it's something hot, put it in your container, pack up everything. You don't have to have the whole great big picnic table. Get you a blanket, get your comforter or whatever it is. Let the kids, if they want to be in their bathing suits, if they want to be in their shorts, and have at it. Eat outside, whether it's in front of the house, the backyard, or even at a park somewhere. So that leads to the next one. Take the kids to the park. That's not just something that you can do, just mom can do or dad can do. You can make a park activity as a family. Take the kids to the park. We enjoy going to the park. I remember walking to the park with after dinner when our kids, especially when we lived in Hawaii, and even living here a lot in Arizona. After dinner walks and stuff like that. Now, am I going to sit there and say that we do that now? Not necessarily. We don't do that, but we do it sometimes. Like, it's not lost. But when they were little, absolutely take them for a walk. Let them take their bikes. I find that a lot of times parents of young children are so impatient. You want them to grow up, but yet you want them to have the feet and the arms and the legs and the capability of an adult. So walking in the neighborhood and eating at the park, you're thinking about the mess they're going to make, and they're going to walk slow. But trust me, that is part of being a kid. Like, they have to develop these social, physical, and emotional skills. And the only way you're going to do that is to expose them to it. Have the picnic, go for the walks. We even hiked. We hiked when my kids were little. You find trails and you go. Now, again, if where you live is not safe, it wasn't nothing for me to go to a different town to visit and do something or whatever. Again, you're talking about a military spouse. A lot of times my husband was deployed. And so I'm talking, yes, sometimes we did it as a family, but then, yes, sometimes I did it by myself. You too can do it. I know it seems like it's overwhelming, and a lot of it is just really patience. And because I'm a teacher, I'm a mom, and I'm skilled in that area, but I believe that every parent can develop that type of patience with children. So hiking, that's really, and I'm not talking big trail, like you could just take a trail. Just walking a certain path, a different path. If you normally go to one park, take the extra mile and take your kids to a different park. Something new. They get bored with the same stuff, the same equipment, the same toys, the same this. So make experiences this summer that are not only free, but they are exciting. Road trips, that's something that's not necessarily free because of gas, but it wasn't nothing for us to pick up and when the kids were little. And you can go 2 towns over to their McDonald's. You can go 2 towns over to their park. Go 2 towns over or whatever. It's not, I mean, it might have been an hour drive, but it gets you out the house. And again, I hear you. My kids in the car that long. You got to train your kids, y'all. Like, I don't even know what to tell you. I honestly thought about opening up a service like being the Black Nanny 911, because some of the things that I see, and some people just not having patience, and sometimes people just don't know. You can do it, but you have to stick through it. You have to go through the kids making a huge mess while they're feeding themselves to get to the point where they are clean eaters. You just have to teach them. You have to teach them. Something else that you can do that's free over the summer. There's different, if you, depending on where you live, find local attractions. So local monuments is what I'm saying. Not necessarily attractions, because that's going to cost money, but find local monuments. So we live in Arizona. You can ride up to Sedona. Sedona has the Red Rock. They can learn about the history of that place. If you live in Alabama or somewhere like that, take them places that they can learn stuff, but yet it's like an outdoor thing. Like, this landmark is this landmark is that, you know. And so and even if it's something that they may not even understand, at least you took them, and they you took them to that place or whatever. So there's so many things that you can do that's absolutely free. Sometimes the schools will have open gym. Some gyms will have open gym. If you are already a member, I'm cheating, but yes, if you're already a member of a gym, sometimes they have mommy days out. Capitalize on churches. Churches have a lot of free stuff going on for the kids and the community, usually if they're worth their weight in what they say that they're doing. So VBS, Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts, those things. Yes, there may be additional costs that includes to participate, but generally speaking, when they have different things, it costs less to nothing to participate in these events at the church. So another thing that I used to do with the kids is take them window shopping. Teach your kids, if this is something that's of value to you. I'm able to go, even when my kids were younger. Every time we went to the store, we didn't come out with something for them. Of course, we were younger. And so with 5 kids, you know, and they were all 4 years apart. So that didn't matter as far as 5 years under 5 or whatever. That wasn't the point. Take your kids window shopping. That, number one, it's a cool as in it's a nice, cool place. You can go there. They can window shop, and they just learn that we're just here to look, and they don't have to leave with anything. Now, I hear you, Melissa. If I take my kid down the toy section, they're going to have a fit. Then that's a teachable moment. That's a teachable moment. Like, avoiding situations is not going to teach your child how to self-regulate all those balls of emotions. Now, again, if you're talking about an 18-month-old, of course we can't. I'm not saying window shop with an 18-month-old, because they're not going to understand. I'm talking about this 4, 5, 6-year-old that's in the toy aisle that's having a fit because you're not buying them something. That's not their fault. Respectfully, you have to train your children that this is not what we do in the store. But not only this isn't what we do, the expectation is we are just here to look. So again, without exposing your children to these opportunities to learn how to behave, and you're just avoiding it, and you keep them home, and one dad keeps this kid home because it's easier, and this kid, you know, oh, we can't take him. If that's what works for your family, that's fine. And again, disclaimer, I'm not talking about children with any type of special needs or whatever. I'm talking about, you know, children that because they can also do all these things, but I'm talking about as far as behaviors. Another thing that you can do is visit the different community service areas. So you can visit the firemen. You don't have to be on a field trip with the school to go to the fire station. You could stop by, or even call, say, you know, my kids really would love to come see. I've stopped by, so I never was rejected. There's always someone there, even though the crew may be out on a call or whatever. You can always take your kids there, and they'll be so nice to the little kids, and they may have a hat for them or whatever. I'm not really close to anyone. I'm sure they'll appreciate a phone call first, but that is an idea. That's a free space that you can do. Same thing with the police station. I definitely probably call the police station first. Non-emergency number, please. And just say, hey, you know, my kid would love to meet someone, and, you know, see what the car inside of a car looks like, whatever. I've even seen where they brought the whole truck to a neighborhood. So that's a really good thing. Just finding the different community places and just really letting your kid see, like, okay, this is a mailbox. This is where the mail goes. And this is the mailman, and that type of thing. Absolutely free. And usually if they're in service, they do not mind helping and showing, you know, the little kids, because they're so enthusiastic about, you know, our community helpers. So fire station, the post office, Police stations. Again, I would recommend calling first, but if it's something that you want to kind of guide the kids through, absolutely take them. Something else that's absolutely free that you can do is not only window shop at a big department store, but go to the mall. The mall is a good place to cool off, but also in the mall they have like the little play spaces. So that's a break. You can sit there, watch the kids as they're playing on the little toys and stuff like that. Again, if you feel like, okay, the next thing I want to do is take my kid to the toy store, absolutely free. It's something you don't have to do. So, again, natural resources, your lakes. We picnicked at lakes. We stayed at beaches. We parks, community parks, all of that. Free fun things that you can do, not necessarily always in a walking distance. Think outside the box. If you live in a certain part, a certain town, think about the next city over. So like the next big city over. Okay, that's maybe about an hour away. What's there that's free? What's free to do? What's the popular park that everyone goes there? That's going to hold your kids' attention because you're not taking them to the same park that you guys always go to. So that's that. Splash pads. Your town may not have a splash pad, but the next town over may have one. So again, with great research, you can have these ideas. There's some cities that have a real little rinky-dink library, but then if you go to the major city, a couple of towns over or one town over, they have an amazing, huge library. So it's really, really up to you on how well you want to engage your children. These are just ideas that you can do to entertain your children during the summer. Again, capitalize on the outdoors, capitalize on your indoor space and having those moments where, they can have those fun learning times with you, with the family, but also making memories. So with that being said, I hope that this video help enlighten and give you ideas of what you could do with your little kiddos throughout the summer. That's absolutely free. And so the next video, I'll be talking about what you can do that may cost. So yeah, that's what we'll do in that video. If you have not already, make sure you subscribe to this channel. Make sure that you hit the like button and definitely hit the notification bell to be among the first to know when I drop a video. Happy summer.